Hello there, and welcome to My Living Room. I'm Kathleen Hershner. My guest today and I have a lot in common about the places that we're from. She's from Zaragoza, I'm from the Midwest, from Kansas in the United States, and we've just been talking about the similarities between these two types of people that come from these regions. So I'd like to welcome Violeta Enciso to My Living Room.
Hi, thank you.
I've been to Zaragoza a lot because I had a friend that really liked the downtown area, and I've probably been there 15 times, if not more, which is a bit unusual.
Yeah, it is.
Because it's not one of the more famous towns or cities in Spain, is it?
No, it's not like the typical tourist destination.
Not really. And it's like, I was comparing it, Violeta, to Kansas City. And I was like, it's kind of like Kansas City in that it's a nice city, but not very many tourists go there because they're busy going to Barcelona, Madrid, Sevilla,
exactly.
Santiago de Compostela. But the people from your region are very similar to the people who are from my part of the United States.
Really? Well, I've never been to Kansas, so I don't know, but if you say
no one
so.
has.
Okay.
No one has, believe me. Well, Zaragoza is what? How do most people make their living there? If they don't work in the city, what do they do?
Well, they work in agriculture or factories, but most people live either in small villages or in the urban areas.
Right.
So.
And the people that live in the villages are probably working in agriculture in some way.
Yeah.
The industries, at least the ones that I've seen when I've gone there, a lot of them are associated with agricultural
that's right.
machinery, manufacture of farm implements, whatever. And so it's very similar to Kansas in that the economy is driven by agriculture, but it's also a land of extreme temperatures.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really hot in summer, really cold in winter, and we have this really hard wind in all year. It's called Enciso, and yeah.
It's the same in Kansas. It's a flat land, so there's not much geographical impedance to the wind.
Yeah.
And I remember growing up in Kansas how much I hated wind. I hated wind more than any other climactic
I hate wind too.
thing. It was so frustrating. It kind of takes your will to live
out
of your body.
It makes me angry. I don't know why.
Me too. It's the force of nature, and there's nothing you can do to fight it.
Exactly.
But I think that's why people from Zaragoza, and is your whole family from there?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
People from there are what I would say resilient. Do you know what the word resilient means? You're an English teacher, but that's not a word I say very often. But they are resilient. They have to be.
Yes, because if you're not, then how can you survive that kind of climate? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think people develop a sort of a tough exterior, but they like to be together, and I think that's one of the reasons why there's so many great bars in downtown Zaragoza.
I mean, we're Spanish after all. We like gatherings and socializing.
Helps, but especially in Zaragoza because the bars are really cute. Like, it's not the surrounding area is not that spectacular.
No.
But the downtown part of the city is great. Imagine if those bars were in Madrid.
Well, you have really nice bars over here too, but I agree with you. I love the nightlife there.
It's a lot of fun, and every time I've been out there, it seems like everyone is congregating in the streets. I mean, it's a very social. It's a place that I would recommend. If my friends asked me to where to go in Spain, I would definitely recommend Zaragoza.
Okay.
Just go to the city, hang out there for a couple days, and enjoy yourselves. But aside from that, tell me a little bit more about yourself. I don't know you. You're a friend of a friend of someone that works for El Mundo, and you kind of remind me. I don't know if you've heard this before. This is going to take you by surprise.
Okay, go ahead.
You remind me a little bit of a brunette Renee Zellweger.
Okay, thank you.
Has anybody ever said that to you?
No, never. It's the first time.
I'm sitting here looking at you, and some of your facial expressions and sort of the way you're...
My cheeks.
I'm
just really...
It's sort of the sound of your voice, maybe a little bit the way you look. You're brunette.
Yeah. Well.
But there is something about you that is so like Renee Zellweger. It's a compliment.
Yeah, no, I know. Thank you. No, I like her. I really like this actress. So. it's nice. It's nice to hear that.
I suspect you have a good sense of humor as well.
Yeah, well, I love laughing. It's one of the, if I had to make a list with the things I love doing, laughing would be number one, for sure.
You have to enjoy laughing if you do what you do for a living, which is to be mainly a teacher.
Yeah, a teacher.
Of
yeah,
English.
Teaching. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you teach English, but you also you told me you're taking a script writing class. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure we talk about that.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
interested in the area of script writing.
Great.
But as far as teaching English, as a non-native speaker, does this present some challenges for you? I mean, there are a lot of teachers like me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't teach anymore, but I used to. A lot of people in Madrid and in Spain who teach English who are native speakers. Do you have to compete with people like us to get students, or do you work within the school system?
No, I work outside the school system.
You work privately?
Yeah, private lessons, and I work in an after-school club and teach adults, teenagers, young learners to children. But yeah, well, in a way, yeah, I do have to compete with native speakers because they're just competition, meaning in the market. But no, I have 2 colleagues right now at work who are native speakers, and I get on really well with them. They're great, and I think I've learned many things from them. But they too come and ask me, how would you say this, or how do you translate this into Spanish? Because our students are mainly Spanish, so sometimes they want to know how to say something in Spanish. So
right.
they always come to me for suggestions and things like that. So I don't see them as real competition. It is challenging teaching English and not being a native speaker.
I mean, I think, and as you're giving me your very eloquent answer, I'm thinking of my next statement or my next question, which is that there are kind of 2 sides to it. There are benefits and disadvantages. I guess the disadvantage is that you're not competing with, but the market is full of British people,
exactly.
Irish people, some Americans, not that many, Canadians teaching English. So that makes it a bit more competitive. But on the other hand, I would guess that there are a lot of Spanish people who would feel more comfortable learning how to speak English with someone that they can also speak Spanish with, or maybe a person who's Spanish who can explain things to them, like, okay, this is how we say it in Spanish, but American English says it this way, or British English says it this way.
Well, I've had all kind of experiences with that. Like, I've had students who were really happy about me being a Spanish native speaker and being able to give them translations, or just the kind of confidence that you can give a student when you can say to him or her, right, I've been in your shoes before, so I know what we're talking about.
Right.
I know your stuff, but at the same time, other students at first get a bit disappointed when they learn that you're not a native speaker or that you're Spanish. But all in all, it's good.
Well, they're still going to learn from you. It's just a matter of gaining their trust and sort of convincing them that the fact that you're not a native speaker is that big a deal.
Exactly.
And sometimes non-native speakers, and you speak English so well too, they shouldn't have complaints. And your accent's kind of an American accent.
I know,
as well.
And it changes. I mean, it used to be more British when I was living in the UK, but now it's changed. I think it's because I watch so many TV shows, American TV shows. I think that's why.
You really do. You speak Spanish. You speak English with an American accent. But what I was getting at is that you just have to gain their trust. You have to convince them that it's not that big a deal. And what I was going to say, Violeta, is that non-native speakers of a language often teach the grammar much better than a native speaker.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, well, I think it's true. Not in every case, but I think there is some truth to it, in that people who learn a language learn more about the construction of the language than people like me who speak it. And when I went to school to learn how to be a teacher of English as a second language, I actually had to go through quite a process of reviewing grammar of my own language, because if I didn't understand it, then how could I teach it? Yeah, I mean, it was very difficult. The first year, I don't think I was a very good teacher. I think I was a good entertainer, and I think my students had fun, but I don't think that I did them justice. I don't think that I gave them their money's worth.
Well, I don't think anyone is a good teacher in their first year, so.
Maybe not.
No, but it's true. It's absolutely true what you're saying. I mean, I was a Spanish teacher for a while, and I had to review grammar a lot too, because you know how to say things and it comes naturally to you, but then when you have to explain it, yeah, it's difficult.
Well, my parents were both teachers. My mom was an English teacher, but not English language, English literature.
Of course.
And I remember once after I moved to Spain, I called her up and I said, hey, Mom, I want to ask you a couple questions just for fun. Can you tell me what a preposition is? And she goes, well, honey, I don't know. I think it's like a, and, the. I said, no.
That's not.
I said, so, wrong. Isn't it terrible to humiliate your mother?
Yeah, kind of.
But I was just curious. And then I said, my second question is, can you give me the definition of a phrasal verb? Ooh. And her answer was like, oh, Kathleen, for Pete's sake. You know, obviously, a lot of people, we use phrasal verbs and we speak in phrasal verbs, but a lot of people who are native English speakers could not tell you that a phrasal verb is a verb plus a preposition that actually creates a third meaning.
Yeah.
I think that's the definition.
No, I think you're right.
I hope it is now that I've just said it on TV.
No, it is. I'm pretty sure that's the right definition.
Well, do you plan, Violeta, to continue to teach English, or do you foresee a time when you're going to get a little bit bored with it and want to move on?
Well, I'm not sure about it. Though it has never been my first option, being an English teacher. But
honey, it's never our first option.
Yeah, it's never a first option. I'm sure about that. Yeah, I love writing, and right now at the moment I'm trying to make a career out of it. So.
And you told me before we came on the air today that you're interested in script writing.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you call that in Spanish? I know a script is a guión.
Yeah.
So,
escritura.
Escribir para el guión?
Yeah, escritura de guión.
Escritura de guión.
Right.
And and you told me you're going to school to learn how to do this.
I'm taking a course.
Taking a course.
Yeah, on TV fiction writing.
TV fiction, like for
sitcoms,
made for TV
drama,
movies, sitcoms?
Yeah, TV movies.
Telenovelas?
Yeah. Definitely, soap operas.
What do you think of those different types of, what would you call it, genre?
Yeah, genre.
Of those types, between like a made-for-TV movie, sitcoms, situational comedies, telenovelas, soap operas, or maybe documentaries. Well, you wouldn't really write for a documentary, maybe.
Yeah,
yes
you can write for a documentary, but it's not supposed to be fiction.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
But what of those do you think would be the most challenging? I mean, you would know more than me. Is there one that is considered to be very difficult?
For me, the most difficult, I think the hardest is writing a thriller.
A thriller?
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
You need to know a lot about structure and all the turns, the plot points you're gonna do, and how to present them, how to structure them. It's really hard for me.
Well, thrillers, and I only know a little bit because I've read a book by Stephen King who wrote about writing.
Yeah.
Very good book. I recommend it, called Writing.
Okay.
It's called On Writing.
On Writing by Stephen King.
Yeah, by Stephen King.
Okay.
And he talks a lot about the timing.
Yeah,
of writing.
It's all about timing.
For mystery or thrillers.
Yeah.
That you almost have to be a psychologist. You have to know how the human mind works. Like, how long does it take before to build suspense?
Yeah.
How long is someone's mind how long are they willing to stay attentive before you lose them? That would be difficult.
It is difficult. It's very, very difficult. But my favorite...
Comedy would be difficult, too.
That's my favorite genre. I love it.
I wish... People always say to me that I'm funny, or they say you should be a comedian, but I'm like, no, I'm funny because I'm eccentric.
Have you ever done any stand-up comedy?
No,
nothing like that?
No.
You'd be good at it.
You think so?
Yeah.
If I had a writer, like someone like you, who could write material for me, I could probably deliver it in a humorous way. But I, myself, am not that funny. Like, I make myself laugh, but that doesn't mean that other people are going to think.
Well, all comedians have writers behind them.
Yeah.
And if they tell you something different, don't believe them. Because
Really?
they always have a writer. Yeah, they need to, unless they are writers, like Woody Allen.
I think Steve Martin, our famous American comedian, I don't remember, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think that he was his own writer. He created he created a unique type of comedy that had probably been done before, but in different ways. And he had a lot of physical comedy. He was a magician.
Yeah,
as well. Right. Remember, he did the arrow between, he used to wear the thing with the arrow going through. Yeah. And people at the time in the early 70s were like, this guy's crazy. But he was quite funny.
No, I mean, and he's a star now.
He's a writer too.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful fiction writer. He writes wonderful comedic fiction. And stuff.
That happens quite often. Some actors just find a way to make themselves, I don't know, visible to go on stage if they write their own things, and they like writing, and some of them are good at it.
Have you seen the movie called Funny People? It's an American movie. It came out a year or so ago. It's about the business of being a stand-up comedian.
No, I haven't seen it.
It might be fun for you to watch because they show, it's not a documentary, it's a movie. But I think it's fairly realistic in that they show the comedians backstage writing ideas. Like they'll always have a pad of paper and a pen. And they're listening to another comedian, and something comes into their mind. They're like, oh, and they're always writing notes to themselves. Do you write notes like when you're on the metro and you see something?
A lot, yeah, I do that a lot. I always have my little notebook or my address book, and I'm constantly writing. When I hear something funny, I need to write it down. I have a good memory though, so sometimes I get home and I just write it down.
Yeah. Did you write a lot as a kid? I mean, were you one of those kids that kept a diary?
I kept one diary book, but just that one. No, I didn't write that much, but I remember spending a lot of time on my own, imagining things, stories, characters. I don't know, for no reason. I mean, even when I didn't know what a story was or what a character was, I used to do those things all the time. Don't know why.
So you had a lot of creative energy. I suppose you'd have to.
I don't know.
To be a good
I guess
writer.
so, yeah.
I tried writing once or twice or 3 times. And each time I tried, I couldn't find my voice. You know, writers talk about finding the voice, your own way of saying.
Well, it's not something that you're going to find on your first or second time.
I haven't found it yet, and I've tried to write a few times because I've had a lot of interesting things happen to me since I've lived in Madrid, but I just can't write it in a way that seems authentic. So it just seems like when I reread it, I'm like, oh, come on.
You don't like it? Well, it takes some time until you get used to your own writing and the way you want things to be and the way you actually do things when you write. But what do you write about? Is it
I wanted to write about things that occurred to me. Always nonfiction. I'm not a fictional. I don't have imaginary characters, and I don't want to create stories. But I was always trying to write things that I knew. And then I thought, well, maybe I could say it, because of course I work on radio. I talk most of the time, and I was wondering, could I say it into a recording device and then transcribe it? I don't know.
Yeah, but some
people do that?
Yeah, a lot of writers do that actually. They tape themselves and then listen to what they say. I mean, that's not the way I work, but you could try that. Maybe that way.
Might try it sometime.
Yeah. If you're used to speaking to other people, it might be nice for you to listen to yourself and see.
Well, I don't know if I'd enjoy listening to myself, because that's always a bit painful. But I think maybe it's the only way I could ever write anything. And I used to say, oh, the only people who should write memoirs are people who have spectacular things happen to them in life. And yet, I've read some really good memoirs from some pretty normal people who have not had really spectacular things happen, but they write about it in an interesting way.
It all depends on how you write it, on your style and the meaning you put into it.
Well, Violeta, what are you going to do when you finish this course where you learn the basics of script writing? Are you going to try to work for a TV station?
It's not. It's actually a higher level than basics. So
you've gone through the basics already.
Yeah, already, and we're working on a project right now. So with a group of people, I'm really happy about that.
An independent project where you'd like to
yeah, we'd like to sell it to a production company, and well, but that's difficult anyway. But we're working on it. So
Is it a thriller?
Yes, it is. But I'm not going to say anything
I
else
won't.
about
I won't
it.
ask you to divulge
Okay.
any details. You know, this morning I was watching. When I wake up in the morning, I do what a lot of people do. I turn on the computer.
Okay. Yeah. me
Go to
too.
YouTube, find something funny,
Yeah.
just to entertain me while I'm waking up.
Of course. Yeah.
And I was watching this YouTube video that these 4 college guys made who go to Harvard in the United States, and it's a funny video
Okay.
about if boys were girls,
Okay.
or how boys would talk if they were girls.
Okay.
So, but they obviously had done some scripting
But you have
of
to.
this, and it was quite good. It was 5 minutes, and it was 4 guys, 4 college-age kids, university age,
Okay.
talking like girls, like doing what girls do.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was funny because they were clearly not trying to be girls, they were being guys. But they walk in and they go, dude, oh, I like your shirt, man, that's so cool. I love that. Oh, you've cut your hair.
Yeah.
I mean, they were doing this totally funny thing, but it was clear that one of them had written the material.
The material. Yeah.
And so I wonder if YouTube and some of these internet video sites, is that a good way for script writers to be discovered?
Absolutely. Well, this is just my opinion, but I think the internet is great for that because everyone can do something and upload it, and I think that's great that you have access to a lot of crap definitely, but you can also find really good and original things done by people who have no training related to filmmaking or writing. Right. They're just there, they're having fun, and they upload it, and it's great that you can show your talent online that way.
Well, it's like a creative platform that's available to everyone.
Definitely.
Whereas 20 years ago, 10 years ago, pre-internet revolution, you had to know someone, or you had to go get a degree in screenwriting, or you had to do this or that, or you had to be lucky. But I suppose now it's just that you need to figure out how to get people to watch your video.
That's it.
Like maybe you have talent, that's great, but then you might need to find somebody who can help you do I think they call it viral marketing?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Yeah. Like you find someone who's interested in what you do.
Right.
But that's a good thing about websites like YouTube, that more people have access to what you've done, so more people can watch what you do.
Right.
And it's random too. I mean, you don't know who's watching you. It can be a bad thing. Of course, there are lots of crazy people are out there, but at the same time, who knows who might be watching what you've done? Maybe some guy who's interested, who's got the money, or who's got the means for you to do more things about that. So,
well, and some people have become more. Their videos have actually made them famous because they've copied somebody like Lady Gaga, or one of these sort of eccentric musician characters, and then you see people who do what we call like a knockoff or a spin-off or a take on maybe one of her songs. And I've seen some hilarious renditions of some of these songs, and some of them have made these people quite well known. Whether they're famous or not, I don't know, but they're sharing their creativity with the world.
That's right. Yeah.
I'd like to talk to you. Maybe you could, maybe later we could talk about you writing some material for me, and I can actually see if I could actually be funny.
Excellent.
I don't know.
Yeah, no problem at all. English or Spanish?
Oh, there's this 60,000 euro question. I think it'd have to be in English.
Okay.
But you could do that.
I could try. I took a creative writing course when I was in England, and it was hard for me to write in English.
Well, now that you've met me, you can kind of think about what sort of things I could deliver. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. I like you a lot.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Violeta Enciso.
Yeah, that's my name.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Well, thanks to you.
And thank you for tuning in to another conversation here in my living room in English. We'll be back with more interesting people talking in English for you very soon. So stay tuned. Adios. Ciao. Bye-bye.
Bye.